Me, and thank you so much for the time today, my friend. And just we'll get right into it. And just, did you get Rhea Ripley's pants?
No. But we definitely hung out and compared our chains and bells and whistles that we have on our pants.
So who had the better chains and who had the better pants?
Well, the same person makes our stuff, so
Okay.
they usually share the same chains. But her pants were pretty sweet, so I might give it to her. You didn't ask to borrow mine.
If you just look back on what's life been like for you since the Royal Rumble? Just because it seems like you were on NXT and then you shot up to the main roster with Bad Bunny, and it's just been a whirlwind ever since.
That's exactly a whirlwind. It's been crazy, It's just everything I've ever wanted and more. Like, just like you said, from the Royal Rumble. I mean, the amount of attention I've been getting, and then how busy everything I got. It got crazy, especially leading into WrestleMania. It's a wild ride, but man, I'm really loving every second of it. It's just what I've always wanted, and and all the work and the time that you've put into it. It's all part of it, and I welcome it all, and I love it.
Watching Raw every week and you just being out there since the Rumble, and you look and it's like you're a kid in the candy store. I've been following you for a very long time, and I've never seen you so happy than in that. You still are now, but just you could not like the deer in the headlights type of thing, but it was more like just, man, I'm here. This is what I was meant to do, and my God, I'm in one of the biggest matches in WrestleMania.
Yeah, that's exactly it, though. I'm literally enjoying every second of it. Like, there's no forced laughter or smiling. It's all natural and real, I've explained to others in the past where, like, Bad Bunny and I would be joking around in the back and laughing and just enjoying ourselves. And then it was like, well, let's just do that on TV, and it's just that. It's just, we're just being ourselves. And I think, based on the reception that we got at WrestleMania, is that people can relate to that, and they feel that, and they know it's genuine, and they enjoy it, because it's who doesn't enjoy being happy,
Okay,
so
right?
Seeing that, and I think people can kind of feed off of it, and then vice versa, like WrestleMania, I fed off of their energy. So that's what's been happening. I just literally just been loving every second of this ride.
I'm looking at the behind you there. I just seen some of those cool paintings and the sculptures and everything. What significance do those have to you?
So I'm like a world person, where I like cultures. I like learning about different different things and different ways of life. So that's why. So some of them represent things, whether it represent passion and kindness, stuff for luck. But it's all like, I have things all over my house, and it's all like for positivity, for good vibes and stuff like that. So, and I love one of my favorite things.
Where does the positivity come from? Is it something that was instilled in you from when you were a little kid, or did that just come naturally during time?
No, I was actually the opposite, man. I was somebody who was miserable, blamed everybody else for everything that was wrong. They didn't understand why I wasn't getting the opportunities. I was that guy. And then I don't know, just one day, I didn't believe, like, to me, the idea of the power of positivity, I thought it was silly. I never believed in it. And then it was one of those things, like, I'm trying to change my life. I'm like, well, let's give it a shot. If it doesn't work, then I was right all along anyway. And then, unreal, I started being positive, surrounding myself with good people, good positive people, and started just looking, no matter what the situation is, forget about the bad, just focus on, even if it's one little thing compared to 100, just focus on the one thing. And unreal, I started getting opportunities. And I started getting jobs, and I was like, what? This is for real? And you know what, though? It completely changed me, like, mentally, even physically. And I like being happy all the time. It's such a cool feeling compared to the ball of negativity that I was. Now it's I wake up every day excited to do something. And that's awesome. I mean, and I would highly recommend it to anybody to live their life really happy. It's awesome.
No, I agree with that 150%. You know, when you look at guys and girls that make their WrestleMania debuts, not many of them I can count on. I can count on a couple of fingers of how many people have gotten to be in the big moment in their inaugural WrestleMania. You know, you think of Brock, you think of Kurt Angle, just to name a couple guys. And what does that mean to you in the fact that you got this big spot, your first WrestleMania? What does that mean to you?
Man, I don't know how I got here, but
you're pretty talented. I think that's one reason.
It means the world, man. Like, this is the dream, right? This is why I wanted to come here. And yeah, to actually achieve it, and then to be in there and not just have a match, but like you said, like, we created a moment and it was a good one. Blessed. I can't believe, like, it's surreal. I don't understand how I was chosen to be successful in that spot. You know, it could have been anybody, but for whatever reason, it was me. And I think we all in the ring, because it takes all of us. I think we all knocked it out of the park. And man, eternally grateful and proud, and just everything combined, and loving the fact that people were happy to see that too. You know, looking onto the crowd and seeing all the smiling faces and people jumping up and down. That was just as much like we shared all that together. I think myself, Pat Bunny, Ms. Morrison, Eddie the referee, the announcers, and all the fans, we all shared that together. Like, we were all genuinely excited, happy, hyped, all the ball of emotions that are positive. We all shared those together in that moment. And that's something I will never forget.
You know, pro wrestling, WrestleMania is always associated with celebrities. You know, sometimes the talent gets in the ring, sometimes they're enforcers outside the ring, or, you know, they do something, ring announcing, so on and so forth. You know, you look at Bad Bunny and no one really, like, okay, here's this musician. He's about my height. I'm 5'11". I'm about 215, 220. And people are like, oh, how's he going to do? We've seen some flops in the past, but we also seen last year with Pat McAfee and what you saw in NXT. And what we got was one of the, in my opinion, the best performance for a first time ever in a wrestling match. Just detail a little bit, Damian, him in the ring, because I heard some rumblings he was putting in a lot of work at the PC. Just what did it show you, the dedication he put towards the craft? Because some celebrities come in, want to check, and they bounce out.
So we started working out, because I trained with him from the get-go. Every single time he was in the ring, I was with him. Myself and others like Norman Smiley, you know, Adam Pearce, Drew Gulak, Brian Kendrick. There was other hands that helped in training, you know, and getting him ready. But I was there the entire way, every single time. And we got in the ring before the Royal Rumble, you know, like I worked with him to get that crossbody, you know, and we all made sure that he was ready for every little step. But yeah, he put in work at the PC. He also put in work before Raw. Sometimes we'd have to go to Tampa and put in work before SmackDown. I mean, we didn't have to be there, but he wanted to put in extra time. He needed extra time. So he'd say, hey, is there any way we could get in the ring? Oh, there we have extra rings at the time at Tropicana Field, you know, around the Thunderdome. So let's get them some ring time there. So let's go for 2 hours. So let's drive 2 hours, to spend 2 hours, and then drive 2 hours back. You know, it was all worth it. Obviously it was. He had no issue putting into work. And I personally knew he was going to surprise a lot of people, because again, like you said, nobody expected, nobody knew. You hear that he's training, but what is anybody could train? Doesn't mean you're going to be good. You know, it doesn't mean you're taking it to the fullest, like seriously. You know, we've had, like you said, there's been other celebrities and they've trained, but they didn't train to the level of that he did mentally. That he did. He took this very prideful. Like, he didn't want to embarrass himself, the company, his fans, our fans, me, and anybody else in the ring. And the first thing he was worried about was earning respect. He didn't want to disrespect anybody. You know, he wanted to make sure that people didn't like him just because he was a celebrity here. He wanted to earn the respect of the boys and girls first, and then go from there. And I remembered the Friday before Mania, Randy Orton going up to him and saying, "Hey, man, I want to say thank you because I've never seen anybody treat this business the way you have." He goes, "So thank you for doing that and being so respectful to our stuff." And Bad Bunny's a humble dude, and he's quiet and shy, and he just like, no, my pleasure, thank you, thank you for accepting me, and that's who he is. And I was so happy that he got to deliver the way he did and shock everyone because he earned it. He really did earn that opportunity and that moment. Forget about his celebrity status across the world. That moment at WrestleMania here.
What did it show you that he was so dedicated to wanting to be, it's not just so dedicated to being in the ring and trying to do what you guys do, but also just the fact that he was so humble? Because I've talked to numerous celebrities and they're all not the greatest people in the world. And even just regular human beings like me aren't the greatest in the world either. But what did it show you of the humbleness that he had towards pro wrestling?
It's inspiring. It shows you that you don't, like you said, you don't have to be a bad person to succeed. Like you don't have to step, but you could just be good and just work hard. And that was the one thing that why we became friends and we hit it off. It was our way of being. It was, we wanted to reach, our dreams, but our way. We didn't want to have to change the way we spoke, the way we treated people, the way we dressed. We want to do it on our own terms. And if it doesn't happen, we're okay with that. We're still having a good time and doing what we love doing. We're just fortunate that we did. Now he's really fortunate because he's, but it shows, but I could, getting to know him and seeing him, I understand why, like there's a reason why there's so much that he's like a magnet to success. And I can see why. It's because he puts in the work and he's just a good human being for it. Like he's an actual good human being. And it showed even when he transitioned over. And I said it to him, then, and before he left, I said it again. He's like, "Hey man, if you ever want to come back, this would be something that you can do, no problem." And realistically, there's not much I can't see him in the entertainment business not being able to accomplish if he decided to go for it, just because the way he dedicated himself to this, I could only imagine that's how he dedicates himself to his music and his companies. So that guy is, you can learn a lot from that guy. Like I said, it's inspiring.
I was covering both nights for DAZN, but I still had a couple buddies over. It's Mania. We always have we have a little bit of a party and everything. And I had buddies that were like, "How's he going to look?" And I'm like, "Oh, I've talked to some people there. I'm like, I'm hearing good things." And they're like, "Oh, no. They thought that would be the bathroom break match." I'm like, "How about you guys just come sit here, crack a beer and just watch?" And they were just in awe because they weren't expecting that at all. Did you take a step back at all when you're sitting there on the apron? Are you like, whoa, like you knew how good he was during training, but it's a whole different deal. Practicing actual performance in front of almost 26,000 people and millions watching around the world is completely different.
Yeah, it's WrestleMania. Like I was nervous, and he was nervous. We were two balls of nerves. Like we were both shaking. We laughed about it after how nervous we both were. Because it was like, at first it was like, this is the worst tag team ever. We're both useless right now. We're so nervous we can't even walk straight. But yeah, no, if you see me on the apron, I was jumping and I was hyped. Like I was excited watching him. He was doing great. And I mean, taking everything in and the crowd reaction. I mean, it was just, everything was perfect, and he did great. And like I said, I knew he was going to shock people. I knew he was going to do well, but there's always that unknown factor, especially with live performances. Things can change and it's how you adapt. And those are the things that we weren't sure how he would react to. And like a pro, no problem, no issues, because things didn't go as planned, but it didn't matter. Nobody knew that because he just kept on going. And it just seemed like he'd been doing this for years. Like that was impressive. Like he put on a performance, like you said. I mean, there's been other celebrities that have done it.
Awesome.
You mentioned Pat. Pat trained for a while, even outside of WWE training, and even that was impressive. But this is WrestleMania, and what Bad Bunny did in 3 months of training, that's wild.
What'd you make of that Canadian Destroyer on the floor? My friends literally got like, wait, they're like, the ones that were here that were doubting, they all jumped up, Damian, from my couches and my chairs. That was a holy cow type of moment?
Well, I got to correct it. The Bunny Destroyer.
Oh, okay. We'll go with the Bunny Destroyer.
No,
that was awesome.
We literally taught him how to do that the night before. And
get out of here.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Literally. Like he knew the moves, but like now, like how to position your hands, your head, and how to, just everything. The night before, we just did it. He did it 2 or 3 times, and we're like, all right, you're good.
Man, that is amazing. Because he landed that perfect.
Exactly. That's why I said like he's a student of the game too. Like I guess being a fan helps. Like he understands what he's doing because he's been observing it for so long. That he gets it on a different level than other celebrities, and that's another reason why sometimes other celebrities don't progress the same way. It's just because they don't know, they don't understand, or they don't care. And to them, it's just they're here to promote something. So fine, show me how to do a few things. His was different. His wasn't just show me how to do it. He was like, teach me. That was his attitude.
How has life changed for you since Saturday?
For me, I mean, I am who I am. I don't know how to be any different. So the way I am, that's not going to change. The way I live my life doesn't necessarily change. But of course, I feel like I'm on a different level now. Like we're standing in the company and just in this business. So I definitely feel like I'm on another level. So that changes. But the nerves are still there. The excitement's still there. So that's all. Yeah, that's all the same.
A lot of people upset you lost to the Miz, who was in his undies. Got a lot of people upset on social media.
Look, we can't win every match. This is not a business where you go undefeated. That's just everybody loses. And you know what? If I'm gonna lose somebody, at least I embarrassed the hell out of them. And it was a handicap, but it was really 3-on-1 situation with that extra, so it was that bad. I mean, it took 3 people to beat me. One of those 3 people is a former 2-time WWE champ. That Mr. Morrison, multiple tag title runs. I mean, individual titles galore. Super, like the amount of success that they had. So I had that plus Maurice, and it took the 3 of them to beat me. I'll take that.
So we could tell everyone to relax. Everyone's getting all up in arms on social media, Damian, about why is he taking a pin? He had that big moment at me. It's like, let's see how the story goes before we
will win again. I promise I will win again.
A couple more questions, Damian, and thank you so much for the extended time today. It's greatly appreciated. And now that you've had this big moment, what's next now for Damian Priest? What are your goals from now until we get to WrestleMania 38 at AT&T Stadium in Dallas, Texas? So
for me, I talk about live forever. I want my name to live forever. And that's because I want to be remembered. I want to do things that stand the test of time. Obviously, it's a good start with WrestleMania. That now I cemented that legacy like I had of WrestleMania moment. And that's what it's about. That's what we do, create moments. And that's what's next. It's creating another moment that you can talk about the next day, that maybe I could sit with you and talk again where you're asking me, how was that? It's those things, create another moment that people talk about the next day, the next year, and so forth, and far beyond, when I'm long gone from this world. That's what I want, to create moments. So that's what's next, is just to continue looking for ways to create moments and doing things that people can enjoy and be happy to be witness. So that's the goal.
I want to ask you this because I saw it on Twitter a couple hours ago. Was a little interaction you had with Triple H, and I know from talking to him in the past how much he cares about the guys and girls that have been in NXT, and even to see their growth when they've gotten to the main roster and they've prospered like yourself. And what has he meant to your career? Because talking to a lot of talent, he's meant a lot more to you guys than anyone else in WWE.
There's a reason why, like this ongoing joke that everybody refers to him as Papa H, at the Performance Center in NXT. It's because we're his kids, right? He's another one. I'm not sitting here right now if it's not for him. He's the one that brought me in to start with. And then we're gonna do something with you. And all right, let's sit down and get this. And he was always on top of me to be yourself, go out there. Like, I like the dude that I talk to on a regular basis. I like this guy. Go do that on TV. And he was pushing me to do that. Finally, I figured it out. I think after my match with Finn Balor. But he's been nonstop on me. Like, even to this day, I see him multiple times a week, still continue to talk. I go to every NXT taping. Like, I'm always there, like, and I'm always by him, trying to learn. Like, when he's producing the shows and going over entrances, I'm usually behind him trying to listen to see how his brain like sees things the way it does. Because it's incredible. Like, he says things and does things that I'm like, how did I not think of that? It's so obvious, you know? Like, what? Like, I told him one day, and I was like, I know it goes without saying, but you're really good at this. And he just started laughing. You know, but he means the world. I feel like I know he truly, like, it's his job, right? He has to care about it. He wants to succeed. That is his job. But when he goes out of his way and says certain things in private and helps you, and he's like, call me if you have a question, or if you need help with something, if you need advice, if you need me to talk to somebody, if something doesn't feel right, don't keep it in, you know, just let me know if I can help guide you through that. Those things have nothing to do with his job. Like, that's not, there's other people for that, but that's just him caring about the humans and just being a good person. And that means more than a lot of the other stuff. And for instance, when I came back to the curtain, he was the first one and to talk to me and say a lot of nice things and basically let me know that that's what he wanted for me. He knew I can have that. And he was happy that I was able to enjoy that moment and have it. And just hell of a human being. That guy's the man. He really is.
He's like the Godfather. The Godfather.
Yeah. Big time. Like, literally the man. Like, the greatest.
Damian, we've never chatted before. This has been great. Thank you so much for taking time out today. And congratulations on the big moment at WrestleMania with Bad Bunny, taking care of The Miz and John Morrison. You can catch Damian Priest every Monday night on USA for Monday Night Raw, 8 Eastern, 7 Central, and 5 Pacific. Damian, get revenge on The Miz this week. Kick his butt a little bit. Give Morrison a little bit too. Be kind to Marie Stoll like you were on Monday. I thought you were really kind to her, and they weren't nice to you back. So, but if you want to get a little revenge on her too, go right ahead.
Well, look, I'm a nice guy, you know, but it goes without saying that, you know, they got the bullseyes on them now. And I usually don't miss my mark. So I'll be saying them.
That is why you're the archer of infamy. Damian, thank you so much, my friend. And have a good rest of the day, and hopefully we can do this again soon.
Sounds good. Thank you very much for having me.